What happens when an ancient spiritual practice, one that's thousands of years old, collides with the cutting-edge world of modern medicine? Well, we're about to find out. Let's dive in and break down the really fascinating concept of modern yoga therapy.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to see how yoga is actually meeting the lab. Then, we'll explore what's being called the anatomy of a yogi. After that, we'll uncover a pretty surprising link to our genetics and even our heart health. We'll see how all that comes together to build a completely new therapeutic model, and finally, we'll wrap it all up by talking about why this synthesis really matters.
All right, first up, yoga meets the lab. And get this, we're going to break down this entire concept of modern yoga therapy just by unpacking the story that's being told on a single book cover. Yeah, just one image.
And here you have it. This single image from a book called Modern Yoga Therapy by Dr. Yogii Ravi is going to be our guide for this whole explainer. What you're looking at is basically a visual metaphor. It's about two powerful worlds colliding, the ancient tradition of yoga and the super data-driven world of modern medicine.
Okay, so before we really get into the modern part of all this, let's make sure we're on the same page about the traditional side. At its core, yoga therapy is pretty straightforward. It's using those ancient yogic principles, the postures, the breathing, the meditation, to promote health and well-being. It's a holistic system that's been around for, centuries.
Which, of course, brings us to the big question here. What exactly makes it modern? What's the new ingredient? Well, the clues are actually hiding in plain sight on this cover. So let's start digging in.
Okay, let's move into our next section, Anatomy of a Yogi. This is where we start to go beyond just the outward pose and look at that first layer of scientific integration, the physical body itself.
See, this modern approach, it isn't just satisfied with feeling good. It wants to know how and why. It's all about understanding how these ancient practices actually affect our physical bodies, and it grounds itself in the hard sciences of anatomy and physiology.
Just look at the image again. See that transparent anatomical figure overlaid on the yogi? That right there is our first major clue. It's signaling a huge shift in focus, away from just the external posture and toward all those intricate systems working inside, the muscles, the bones, the nervous system. It's all about understanding the mechanics of the body.
But it doesn't just stop at the big picture stuff like muscles and bones. Oh no. The next layer goes way deeper, all the way down to the cellular level. This is where we get to the genetic and cardiac link.
And this is where things get really fascinating. This model makes a pretty bold claim. It suggests that the benefits of yoga aren't just about your muscles or your mind. Nope. It's suggesting that they might reach all the way down to our biological source code, our DNA, and even affect the very rhythm of our heart.
And you can see it right there in the artwork. Look to the right of the figure.